a wide-ranging speech on Georgia, Ukraine, Russia and Afghanistan. The NATO Secretary-General opened in his support for Georgia to become a full member of NATO and also concern over Russian intervention in South Ossetia.
First, Russia. Here the issues are crystal clear. Irrespective of who did what and when in the August conflict, Russia has demonstrated a disregard for the sovereignty of a small neighbor and for international law. This has created a major challenge for our partnership. Both NATO and the European Union have made it abundantly clear that the very notion of partnership implies due respect for certain agreed standards of behavior. As long as Russia chooses to ignore these standards, there can be no business as usual. Russia has long demanded to be treated with respect as becomes a global power. But respect has to be earned by taking one's global responsibilities and the defense of universal values seriously, rather than by abusing one's military might. In both her actions and her accompanying rhetoric, Russia has shown much assertiveness. But what worries me even more is Russia's apparent readiness to stand against virtually the entire international community. Russia's perceived temporary gains in Georgia have come, I think, at the cost of her strategic isolation. President Medvedev and Prime Minister Putin tell us that the West needs Russia, but that Russia doesn't really need the West. I have, of course, no problem with the first part of their statement. Yes, the West does indeed need Russia. But it's an illusion to believe that Russia can go it alone without the West. Going alone in this global world is simply not an option.
The Secretary-General, while supportive of Georgia, also at pains to explain that this did not exclude Russia from present and future partnerships.
Irrespective of our approach vis-à-vis Russia, we must support Georgia. Indeed, in many respects, this is the most important thing that we need to do in the short term. And we are doing it. We are helping Georgia to assess and repair the damage caused by Russian actions. And we will continue to support this country in realizing its Euro-Atlantic aspirations. Earlier this week, I visited Georgia together with the ambassadors of the North Atlantic Council. And during that visit, we inaugurated the so-called NATO-Georgia Commission. It conveys the message to Georgia as well as to Russia that geography does not have to determine your destiny and that the era of spheres of influence is over. Georgia may remain a bone of contention between Russia and the West for some time to come, but this must not prevent us from seeking to cooperate with Russia wherever our interests converge. And one key area where this is the case is Afghanistan. When Russia decided last month to suspend most of her cooperation with NATO, this did not include cooperation on Afghanistan. That is a clear indication that common interests can transcend disagreements in other areas.
The Secretary-General said NATO remained an indispensable pillar of international order.